Hello again, my friends. It's been a while since I've posted a video. It's just been crazy busy here on the farm, as anyone can probably relate to in the spring. But I wanted to detail this raised bed that I made. I'll link here to a video showing how I made it, but I wanted to look at the productivity that we've been getting out of this compared to the exact same crops in the ground that we've had. So stick around. So far this has worked absolutely brilliantly. If you saw that video, you remember what we did underneath here. There's layers. We started with rotting logs going all the way through, and then just gradually kept putting fertilizers and more straw, leaves. I scooped out from the chicken run a lot of nice broken down compost to put on top of the whole works. And just check out some of this kale. So for a couple reasons, I'll go into why things are so much lusher here. One of them is just the obvious fertility boost, but another is since it's raised up, we haven't had any slug pressure, no rabbit pressure, especially with something like kale. They would just be all over that. I'm really excited to see how this is going to evolve. So we started around the entire perimeter next to the hay bales. We have onions that are just growing wonderfully, so much bigger than the other beds. We'll go take a look at the in-ground beds and compare our onions and our kale, and the difference is staggering. But anyway, so we're gonna keep evolving this. There's a ring of onions. These aren't storage onions, they're summer onions, so we'll be harvesting those fairly soon. And with the kale down, not quite the center, but 2 rows of kale down the sides next to that. We've been harvesting that every day for salads and smoothies. And as that grows and gets a little tougher in the summer, I'm gonna take this middle section here, or anywhere there's gaps really, but especially the middle, and this is gonna transition to a melon bed. So we're gonna trail melons over the sides and even some climbing ones up this cattle panel, probably some Kajari melons. And kind of unrelated, but I'm actually growing straight in hay bales too. We didn't even fill that with compost. If anyone's interested, I'll detail how we do that. You can plant straight into straw bales or hay bales with a little bit of work. It's really cool. But yeah, this is just remarkable. Some of these leaves are massive. There's no damage. No slug pressure, don't have to worry about rabbits. So I'm really excited how this bed's gonna turn out, and I bet the melons are just gonna go absolutely crazy. There's so much fertility here. And as it breaks down, this spot will be wonderful for years to come. It's just pure, there's a sand and gravel roadway for years. And now it's a wonderful garden bed. So let's go take a look at some kale and lettuce that we have in the ground, planted, believe it or not, the exact same day that this was. We'll take one more close up so you can compare. It's a completely different story up here. Believe it or not, this is the exact same variety of kale, planted the exact same day as the bed we were just looking at. And in fact, I brought a leaf from that bed. This is one single leaf from that kale compared to this entire plant here, for many reasons. The added fertility, the less slug pressure. I will say this has dealt with decent slug pressure, as well as we had an extremely late freeze that actually nipped a lot of these lower leaves. We fed them to the chickens and it's rebounding nicely, which was exceptional though, because kale usually shrugs that off, but it was very unusually cold, so that was tough. But another reason that this was completely unaffected was all that fertility under the hay bales, the rotting logs, the straw, the fertilizer, the chicken compost. That's all going to create warmth as the composting continues. That warmth goes upwards, of course, to the waiting plants. So these plants were able to shrug off that freeze, no problem, no damage at all. These ones got set back a little bit. So between no slug pressure, the added fertility of the beds, and the added warmth. This is like so outpaced that. I mean, this one leaf has more food material than this entire plant. Pretty remarkable. Let's go take a look at some onions. So we have one of our 4 onion beds. We like a lot of onions. We use them so much. Hey ladies, let's go take a peek at the girls. What's up? Got something to say? Okay. So anyway, using the same size comparison, we have these beautiful onions here. Let me just step over the fence. And these ones are actually coming along really nice too. We have a smaller bed, but even still, this is an onion from down into that bed we were just looking at. You can just see the thickness of the leaves so much more. The height, I mean, these just tower above them. Sorry, this is terrible lighting. Let me try. There we go, that's much better lighting. Sorry about that. Anyway, there's the difference. These ones are coming along nicely too, but these are just the thickness of them. The leaves, they tower over these beds. And this is an extremely rich bed in and of itself too. And that just goes to show the early start that that raised bed can give these crops. And I anticipate they'll do the same with the melons and pretty much anything that you would put in there. So super simple to make, pretty cheap if you can get the materials. I highly recommend it. So if you thought this was interesting, I highly recommend you make one of these. And I'll link up here to the video in the winter where I made one of these. It just goes step by step, shows you how I did it. It's all up for interpretation though. You can add whatever you have on hand. And if there's any interest, this is really cool here too. It can make for a super rich spot once it decomposes, and can grow even on driveways, patios, gravel, pavement. Really cool. Thank you guys for watching.